Hey guys and girls, as I said last time, we're going to be tackling the first few C routes of the game today, and this one here works fairly simply. It starts out with one solitary path you can follow, and then it splits into three. The lowest path leads to a dead end, though there are items and trainers, so you want to check that out as well. And the other two paths lead to Route 221, which is a land route that leads up to the Pal Park. So basically, that's how this route works. Nothing very complicated at all. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not feeling 100% right now. I've been sneezing all day, and it's most appropriate because the Pokemon I want to talk about today looks like a teddy bear covered in snot. And I'm not talking about just having a bubble of snot under its nose. No, I'm talking completely bathed in the thing. I'm obviously talking about Reuniclus, if you've been keeping up with the suspect test. It basically came out of nowhere to snag a lot of nominations in this round of the test. And the reason for that is because, well, actually there are multiple reasons. It's amazingly bulky, it also can hit very, very hard, and it's got Magic Guard, which compounded onto that awesome special attack. Well, Magic Guard means that the Life Orb has no recoil whatsoever, so it's a free boost of 30% to every attack sent out by Reuniclus. So, as you can see, that is pretty good. And, of course, there are also all the other benefits of Magic Guard. For example, you're immune to entry hazards completely. You're also immune to burn and poison damage, and you might even want to switch into burn or poison, because then it makes you immune to the much more dangerous paralysis and sleep as well. And then, as if it wasn't enough, you know how Swift Swim and Sand Rush are everywhere right now? Well, Reuniclus can deal with that in a snap thanks to Trick Room. And so instead of, being outsped 20-1, instead you're outspeeding the opponent 20-1. And since it's fairly difficult to outsnail Reuniclus to begin with, well, as you can see, Trick Room is very effective in the current metagame, so much so that a lot of players are getting frustrated with it and are currently nominating it for the voting stage, which could potentially send it to Ubers. Now, I'll be honest, I am not certain banning it right away would be the best option. One thing I want to know is just how much of Reuniclus's current, well, I wouldn't say power, but usefulness spawns from the fact that Swift Swim and Sand Rush are everywhere. Because I'm pretty sure both of these problems will be going away in the next week or so, because, well, obviously I think Drizzle isn't long for this world, and Excadrill is probably going to get banned as well as maybe Landorus. But, Landorus doesn't use Sand Rush, but it's still a fairly fast sweeper, so it might be going the way of the Dodo as well. So, yeah, I would rather wait and see what Reuniclus can do without Swift Swim and Sand Rush being everywhere. Now I have no doubt that it's going to continue being good because of its inherent qualities, but I would still like to take a look at that, if at all possible, of course. I have no say in the matter, so, well, whatever goes, I guess. I think it's just funny, though, that a Pokemon could be sent to Ubers just after 1 or 2 weeks of being a super dominant force, because even early on this month, Reuniclus wasn't as omnipresent as it is today. It was only found to be a very good anti-metagame Pokemon after, people became sick of Swift Swim and Sand Rush and went after alternatives in order to counter those abilities. And I'll be honest, I'm sort of glad that Reuniclus is currently being looked into, because of the simple fact that because of the nature of the damage formula and how the speed stat works, it's much easier for sweepers to get banned. Ever since we started doing suspect tests, it was mostly fast and strong Pokemon that were being tested, such as, for example, we got Garchomp, Sky Shaman, Latios, stuff like that, but never a really slow, really sturdy, really strong tank like Reuniclus currently is. But yeah, the reason why this makes me happy is because, well, it's not a secret to anyone. Tanks are my favorite kind of Pokemon, even though, well, they're a lot less compelling to use at times than the fast and strong sweepers, but I've always had a soft spot for the slowpokes that are both sturdy and powerful in terms of attacks. Because the thing is about speed, it's that in attack and defense, every single point always does a difference. Whereas when it comes to speed, if you're being outsped by 1 point or by 500, the outcome is the absolute same. You go in second. As I'm picking up a splash plate that has engravings about Arceus on it, of course. And, yeah, I'm not gonna give it to Vaporeon because I gave it the Wise Glasses a few videos ago, and personally I like those better. But, what was I saying before? Yeah, the reason why I like tanks is because, you know, if you're trying to beat your opponent through speed, you might end up in an overbidding war that you might eventually lose, and if you lose the speed war, you might be forced to switch or to outright die, depending on how hard you mispredict. Whereas, with something that's slow but can take hits, it can say, you know, okay, you want to outspeed me so bad? Outspeed me if you want, but I'm going to take your hit and I'm going to give one really hard back to you. So that's personally the reason why I prefer tanks. It doesn't mean I use just tanks, but it's just a matter of personal preference. Others might prefer the really fast sweepers, others yet may prefer teams with lots of support moves like entry hazards and U-turn abusers and stuff like that, but personally that's my favorite kind of Pokemon, so I'm sort of glad that one of them is actually succeeding right now and giving even the top players nightmares. Now, if you'll just give me a second, I'm going to put Vaporeon in the lead because Torterra is starting to take the lead in terms of levels again, and I don't want Vaporeon to fall behind. And besides, I think it's time to put the Water Absorb ability to use. Nothing is going to attack me with water moves, obviously, but that just means they're going to have to go with weaker moves. And I've got Shadow Ball just for cases like this, to handle waters that won't be hurt much by either Surf or Ice Beam. But anyway, changing subjects here a bit. I've been LPing for over 2 years now, and I've noticed some sort of, well, I don't know how to word this, but there are sometimes trends in what people ask me in terms of questions and stuff like that. At one point, a lot of people were asking me how I record my stuff, and I couldn't really help them because it's basically a combination of settings that I don't know what it is, but it just sort of works, so I can't really help them there. At one point, I got, I think, 3 or 4 of these in a single week. And right now, the trend I'm noticing in private messages especially is, can you check my videos and see where I can improve and stuff like that? And I'm not just talking LPing here, I'm talking all kinds of videos that I don't even have the first clue how to do. So, why? Why do you ask me that? It's not like even for LPing, it's not like I'm the best out there. I only have, 6,000 some subscribers? Well, some of you might say that's a lot more than I could ever hope to achieve, but still, that doesn't put me in the top percentage of LPers. Far from it. No. So instead of asking me, a guy who basically has no clue what he's doing and who hasn't spent much money at all on his LPs, in fact, you couldn't even call them low-budget LPs. You'd call them no-budget LPs. So, just so we're clear, can you please ask someone who's actually competent at LPing? You know, Proton John's competent, Nintendo Capri Sun is competent. Me? I barely know anything about what I'm supposed to do, and somehow it works. Don't ask me how, but it does. But, quite frankly, I just do what comes to me, and it just so happened that it works fine for me, but what works for me won't really work for you. And so, well, I mentioned other LPers by names, but that goes for basically every other LPer out there. Try not to model your own style on another LPer, because you're probably not going to do it as well, because it's not your own style. So, that's why I really don't have any advice to give, because if I try to get you to do LPs like I do, well, odds are they're not going to be very entertaining, especially since my LPs are... I would say they're not very entertaining either, but some people would probably disagree on that, so I'll just leave it at that. So I'm sorry I couldn't really help you, so if I could stop seeing that kind of private message in my inbox, that would be really appreciated. Same goes for that spam from earnsubscribers.com. Yeah, it's yet another site that's harassing me to, join them and, get subscribers easily, but you're kidding yourselves if there's any easy way to getting subscribers other than putting out a decent product and occasionally getting lucky, like I did when Chugga Conroy's videos started linking to mine, though that came with its fair share of problems as well, but I think I've proven to be more than capable of handling those problems. But yeah, the fun thing about earnsubscribers.com, other than being another really obvious phishing scam website, is that even if they were an easy way of obtaining subscribers, going to that kind of site would basically be the opposite of earning subscribers. Earning them through hard work and stuff. Instead, going through shortcuts and things like that, that's not earning subscribers, I think. So that's kind of the paradox here. And you know what would be really weird? If at some point before I upload my next video, those guys actually sent me another private message saying, "Oh, your video was awesome! Can you please join us?" And I openly called them a phishing scam website, complete bullshit and stuff like that. That would be hilarious. So if I do get one of those messages before I do my next Pokémon video, I am definitely going to let you know about it, because, come on, that would be absolutely priceless. In fact, I'm hoping that they send me something just for the delightful irony of them complimenting a video that they haven't seen, just like first commenters, and where I call them, all kinds of names and stuff. I sort of have my fingers crossed because of the sweet, sweet irony. I love irony. Okay, I was sort of hoping that I could complete those 2 sea routes before time was up on this video, but obviously that's not going to happen. Fortunately, those 2 routes are fairly short, so there's not much left to do, so I'll definitely have it done by next time. And so, in the next video, we're going to make landfall on Route 221, where the PAL Park is. Not that we can use it, because 1, we don't have the National Dex, and 2, this is an emulator, so there's no possibility of transferring from a Game Boy Advance game. So, I'll see you next time.